really emotional day for the family of 7-year-old Summer Thompson. They are applauding the fact that the one and only suspect in her murder is now charged with murder. But they are also having to relive the horror of the day little Summer was abducted and killed. Here's the man police say did it, 24-year-old Jared Harrell. After Summer's murder, this monster was initially arrested on child porn charges. He used to live in Summer's neighborhood. Now he is charged with premeditated murder and sexual battery. Cops say Harrell allegedly grabbed this beautiful little girl as she walked home from school in Orange Park, Florida last October. Summer's mom fought back tears as she vowed to fight the predators who are stalking our children.
He had an impulse, and he took something away from me that no one will ever be able to get back to me. I never liked Mondays, but as far as I'm concerned, there will be no Mondays in my life, because that's the day my life ended.
That poor woman. After Summer's disappearance, cops actually searched Harrod's house, and police dogs were actually in his backyard. They were so close all along, but they didn't connect the dots. Turns out police had an opportunity to get this sicko off the streets months before Summer's murder, when his roommates turned him in for having child porn. Why was he not arrested back then in August? If they had, would Summer still be alive tonight? Straight out to my fantastic panel, clinical psychologist Brenda Wade, criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh, defense attorney and CEO of the Pasadena Recovery Center, Allison Treasel, and we are honored to have the father of Summer Thompson, Samuel Thompson, who is joining us by telephone. Sir, first of all, our condolences. I speak for everyone on this panel and on the issue staff to say our hearts go out to you in this time. I can't imagine what you're going through. There's been so much emotion. Can you describe how this charge of murder against this Jared Harrell has hit you emotionally?
Well, to start off, it was a great thing to hear that we finally had solid evidence and the beginning of our healing on knowing who actually this is the guy that took our daughter. But on the flip side of that, it's just like reliving it all over again, except worse because we have more information now. We know she was raped and was murdered, and that was one thing that I was really that he hadn't done to her before he took her life. Words don't describe the pain that I feel for my daughter. All the special things that she had left to go through in her life. And I can't say thank you enough to the detectives that put their dedication and their heart and soul and diligence into finding this guy. There aren't words in our human language to describe the gratitude I have for them. They did a great job.
Samuel, the overwhelming grief over Summer's death was so palpable today when Summer's aunt almost fainted right at the podium. One moment.
Just hearing asphyxiation, that's enough to destroy you, to break you down. It almost feels like it's the first day again when she went missing.
That poor woman who almost fainted is the sister of Summer's mom, and we're thankful that she's okay. But this gives you just a clear-cut, all too raw insight into what this family is going through. Samuel, your daughter was so beautiful. Tell us about Summer.
Say that again?
Tell us about your beautiful daughter. Tell us about Summer.
Summer was, like I've always said, out of the twins, Summer was the leader. She was always the first one to, when I took them to the beach, she was the first one in the water. She was a very loving child, a caring child. If you gave her $1, she would want to make sure that her little twin brother Samuel, well, what's he going to get? You know, all of my children are like that. You know, they think about other people before they do themselves. And she was just a wonderful, wonderful child. And
Samuel, again, our condolences, and this is so hard to discuss, but it's our duty as journalists to discuss issues surrounding this case. So I want to get your take on this. Here's my big issue. Was this, to a certain degree, after the fact justice? We have to tell you, audience, back in August, 2 months before little Summer was murdered, this suspect, Jared Harrow's roommates, turned him in for allegedly having child porn. That is 2 months before. So my question is, why didn't cops arrest Harrell back then before he allegedly murdered Summer?
you know,
Hold on one second. Let me just hear from the sheriff.
How many people are actually doing that in our community right now? And I'm talking not in dozens, I'm talking hundreds of cases that we got out there. It's a very scary thing, but not everyone who participates in that type of conduct actually ever becomes an offender that attacks someone.
Well, we have called law enforcement to find out exactly what did they do when Jared's roommates reportedly handed cops a computer allegedly used by Jared that was chock full of child porn. That computer allegedly had a file called toddler insertion. It was only after Summer was murdered that Jared was arrested on dozens of unrelated counts of child porn. He is also charged with child molestation, which authorities believe happened back in 2008. Cops believe he took lewd pictures and video in his bedroom of a girl ages 3 to 5 back in 2008. Now, authorities say the alleged victim was not Summer Thompson. So my question, and I want to go briefly to Mark Eiglarsh, is why didn't cops act in August when they were handed that computer by his roommates who told them they were worried he had done precisely this sort of thing?
They should have. They dropped the ball. Now, I haven't heard from them, what their explanation is. Could it be resources? No excuse. Could it have been, I think as he's suggesting, we didn't know he was going to go and commit some horrible offense. Well, just looking and creating a demand for that type of material is enough. They prosecute that all over this country. So I haven't heard any legitimate, real reason why they didn't.
And we want to hear from Samuel, the father of Summer Thompson, right after the break, as well as the rest of our panel. Everybody stay right where you are. We're going to have a lot more from Summer Thompson's heartbroken family, plus the net widens in the alleged Corey.
There is a breakdown of the dates on the computer and where it went, what they had to do. By the time it got back to law enforcement, I believe Summer had been abducted. So it was a process, and if I can find the information, I'll post it on the comment section of my YouTube channel. But this was discussed way back, and they had the dates of how this all broke down regarding the computer. So no, law enforcement didn't drop the gun. It went through procedure. That takes time, unfortunately.